What's going on, PlayDate Community? We are back with episode number 5. This is a very exciting week. We've got upgrades, features. You want it, you got it. Keep leaving those suggestions down below because we're finally getting moving. So we're gonna go over some LUA. What are memory leaks? When you're using a computer, it uses memory. And memory is basically just where the computer stores all its live data. The PlayDate is relatively simple. You've got 16 megabytes of RAM. If your game goes over the 16 megabytes, there's nothing left. You know, if you run out, you're dead. We've got Wheel running on Mackie. I'm gonna show you guys how to view the memory logs. You've got your simulator running here. You wanna jump in a window, go down to malloc log. First, you're gonna get standard output of all your malloc logs. It's really hard to understand at first what's going on. So we're gonna go into the map view, which is on the right over here. And this one makes a lot more sense already. You can see this is your 16 megabytes of memory. We're using 1/4 of it. Let's launch the game, see what happens. So next one. Okay, clearly there's not really a change of scene going on. And we press play, and then boom, we've just seen a change of scene. We've just seen the next half just be pasted onto there. How do we manage memory? So I'm here to teach you guys one thing today, okay? Another LUA secret, which is how memory works in LUA. So LUA manages everything through tables. Anytime you assign a table, it allocates some space in memory for that table. So let me show you guys a little thing. I've just pasted in some code. You could do this on a fresh file. We've got table size 10K. We're pre-allocating a 10,000 long table. This is the array part, and that's your hash part. We're assigning it to this variable called test, which is global. So test is gonna just hang out in your program as long as it wants because it's global. Then what we do is that we fill that up and we insert it. So we're taking up that same array compartment of the table with these empty images. And then we've got this thing, which is test equals nil. What does that do? Here's when you get into LUA memory management. Test equals nil unassigns the table to test. So LUA, which has a garbage collector, the table full of contents gets marked by the garbage collector as being available to garbage collect. Why? Because nothing after this point, test equals nil, will be able to use or reference or do anything with the table that you assigned to test. Same with all the images inside here. So this is like the event horizon. It's never gonna be accessible again past this point. So we're just gonna run this super simple program. You can see that if we do print test, we've got a big table with 10,000 elements there. And then after this point, well, we're in the black hole. You do print test, it's nil. And from this point on, there's no way to go back. I mean, unless you really, really want to look up this pointer right there. But LUA doesn't do that. C does that. LUA doesn't do that, basically. So life continues as normal. In our malloc, we've got like a big chunk right there that wasn't there before. And it's blank. So what happened? That was our table test that took up 10,000 small images, and the garbage collector actually manages it. When it has a moment, the garbage collector will come in and mark anything that's inaccessible as ready for garbage collection. And then afterwards, it's gonna go in and it's actually gonna deallocate that memory, saying this is free for anything else. So if you wanna make a new table, we can use the old memory again. So let's break this. Playdate.myTest equals test. So now we've changed the game. Test is itself no longer accessible, but then you've got somebody else pointing at your table. What happens then? Print test, it's gonna say nil. Let's check out our malloc log, and what do we see? It's full. There's no blank space in there. And ladies and gentlemen, that is not a mistake. To prove it to you guys, to be really, really clear with this, I'm gonna go ahead and say if playdate dot button just press K button left, then playdate.myTest equals nil. So we've allocated, it's now nil, and we're gonna press the left key. Uh-oh. Whoa! Check it out. That's what happens. I don't even know why there's 2 sections of memory right there. There's a space in the middle that's being filled. You've got like a chunk above, and then you've got a chunk behind. LUA's doing some tricky things under the hood. Okay. That was my demo on how memory management works in LUA. I'm gonna teach you now the secret. So what are we gonna do? We're gonna set meta table, our favorite mysterious function. And first we're going to create a meta table. Just call it empty. And we're going to assign it to playdate.myTest. And we're going to assign the meta table to that. And what's this meta table going to contain? 2_mode equals kv. Okay? Everyone still here? Empty equals __mode equals kv. Then we're going to set my test meta table to empty. And we're going to try the exact same experiment as before, where my test is pointing to your table, except let's see what's changed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the garbage has been collected. Why is that?
Great question. I love your enthusiasm. What we've just done here is that we've turned this table into a weak reference table. So what does a weak reference table mean? It's basically a reference that doesn't count. It's a reference that points to your table, but then no one cares. And in fact, it needs to know that whatever it's pointing to can go away at some point. So what happens if we print it out? And I actually don't even know what this is going to do. Is it going to return error? Is it going to return nil?
Let's find out.
Okay, our table's clearly been deallocated. Let's press left. Oh, it's pointing to a table.
Apparently.
Let's see if we can get the size of this table.
0.
Okay, and you'll see that if we don't set the meta table, then the size should be, yeah, it's 10,000. Basically, past that point, it's mysterious what happens. Whoever's pointing to your table and you don't want their reference to count, just be careful about what you're doing on that side. What's best to do is to kind of check whether that table still exists or not.
I should keep that in mind.
So what is this good for? Well, if you'll recall, my game has some memory issues. The game is over allocating memory and we need to get rid of some of that memory.
What you gonna do?
We're in the menu right now. We jump into the game.
Boom!
We've just added
another 4th of memory.
And oops, looks like I'm really bad today. I'm gonna go back to the menu.
And what have we done? We've just added another 4th.
I'm not handling them especially well. If I go between the game and the menu, I would create whatever I'm going into. The point is that it's supposed to be more efficient, but clearly there's some memory issues. And those are all references that are still pointing to things that are telling Lua it still exists. It's not getting collected by the garbage collector. I know that there are 2 things in my engine which are not especially well designed because they have huge arrays that point to all the game's components and do some kind of managing. Those arrays need to be weak arrays. For example, the sprites on the scene, we've got the sprite cycler taking sprites that came before and putting them in front. So what I've done is that I've created a shortcut to that meta table which tells the thing the weak values, weak keys, and weak keys values. So each one of these point to a specific part. So for example, if your table, you're using some sprite to point to then a value, then you would want the key to be weak. If you're using numbers as your key and you're pointing to a sprite, then you would want the value to be weak. And if you're pointing from one sprite to another sprite, then it would be key value. When the level tells the sprites that they should go, they should go. So it doesn't matter if there's a sprite cycler or anything else pointing to them. Looks like we're good in terms of memory management. I mean, we had a significant improvement. As you can tell, now we're able to restart the game as much as we want.
Woo!
We're at 3 restarts. Wow. 4 restarts. Guys, do you realize that you could be playing this game for hours? Oh,
30 minutes, let's say.
Out of memory. We still got some memory management work to do, so I'm going to keep taking those fish oil pills. I recommend you too because, you know, we need that omega-3. What's next? We've got
a fancy camera this week.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Nino,
for suggesting that one. What we went ahead and did is that we made a bit of a smarter camera. I'm going to connect up to mirror. You're now watching my game. It's not at the top FPS. The menu is actually at 30 now.
Thankfully.
But with mirror on, I guess it's just too much. So we're going to get there. I'm going to show you first how this
mouse cursor, sorry guys.
Camera at the beginning looks normal.
What is that? Wow!
The camera moves and then it moves back.
So I'm sorry I'm not speaking to the microphone directly. I don't have 4 arms. I'm gonna comment like this. That way you can zoom on my face and see all weird.
Alright, we're gonna move backwards. And as you can tell, the camera does dynamically change direction. And you can actually smoothly move backwards now and
run into this wall.
What else? So apart from that smooth kind of changing. Obviously the camera pays attention to the direction of the wheel, where the wheel is going. And we've added the y-axis, everybody, look at that! This is a climbing game now. I can't wait to make new levels. Been playing the same levels for 6 months. Look at that. So 6 months. So adding the y-axis just adds like a breath of fresh air. And honestly, guys, this camera upgrade just makes the game feel so much more fluid now. I can't believe it. I can't believe I was stuck on that same camera before for so long and it was so easy. So
thank you
to Nino. Go subscribe to his fart channel, Lagazotech. You'll see it in the comments. Thank you to everybody who's...
I'm gonna stand up normally now. Thank you to everybody who's
still putting in suggestions for the game. Those are coming through now. We've got time. We've got more developers jumping on. It's
great news coming.
So keep subscribed and see you in update number 6. Bye, everybody.